How can you quickly and easily memorize any Bach invention, a little prelude, or anything else at all? Hello, dear friends. That's exactly what we'll be talking about today. I'll share with you an absolutely brilliant method from our Russian pianist, Maria Veniaminovna Yudina. Her method? It's simple and at the same time utterly ingenious. But I'm going to ask you a question. How much time do we usually spend teaching our student any Bach piece? A piece from the children's Bach repertoire. With advanced children, I've been told it takes about a month. With less talented ones, it can take up to half a year. And traditionally, where do we start this learning process? We put the sheet music in front of the child and say, go on, work it out. And so the child starts working through it. And from there, everything gets very boring. And this is the eternal problem. To children, Bach seems like something pulled out of a dusty cupboard, some sort of story from the past, completely irrelevant to today's kids. How can we make the lesson interesting? Now, Udina started in a completely different way from us, the traditional teachers. She didn't put out the sheet music. She would say this: there is a theme here, and it's a religious theme. The theme of the Annunciation. The key is C major. There are no black notes, only the white keys. This is the key of purity and chastity. This is the key of the Virgin Mary. And there are two characters, Mary and the Archangel, who brought her the good news. And Mary asks questions. Who brought me the good news? The good news? Who brought me the good news? The good news. And the Archangel who answers her. It was I who brought the good news. So, two characters. And you can play this game with a child. Say, come on, I'll ask Mary questions. I'll play the right hand and you play the left hand. Who brought it? So we're working together in the harness of an engaging lesson concept. And then, who was it that brought me this wonderful news today, if I may ask? How is Bach usually played? Usually, the last syllable of the previous phrase is connected to the first syllable of the next phrase. Who brought me the good news? Who brought me the good news? And as a result, it turns into complete nonsense. That is, it turns out we've connected news and who. And so Udina always used to say, just imagine a foreigner who doesn't know Russian reading simply a transcription of Russian words. And any Russian person, for example, would read it. How many seeds are in a tomato? How many cats are in the yard? In the alley of lanterns? But a foreigner would read as in the alley of lanterns. And so she would say that they play music. Gebacha plays across the phrase, along the Olkafan, not understanding where the phrase ends and where it begins. But in this specific instance, the phrase we're looking at is, who brought me the good news? I really want to know, who is the person that actually brought me that wonderful news? Can anyone tell me, who exactly brought me the good news today? What is the main mistake? They put down the fingering in this way. Who brought me the good, her news? Who brought me the good, her news? They play this scene with a twist of the first thing there. But here, there is no twist of the first finger at all. Here, we always start with a fourth finger, with the right hand, and with the first in the left. And from the fourth finger, we play in sequence, with the fingers finishing on the third and calmly moving the hand down to the fourth finger. Not being afraid to lift your hand off the keyboard. Yes, this is Tausig's rule. With Bach, the theme is always played with the same fingering. Muscle memory is at work. Muscle memory makes up 90% of our musical memory. That's why we always play the theme with the same fingers, even if the first finger lands, as in this case, on the black key in the E flat position. You shouldn't be afraid to play the first finger on a black key in Bach's music. It's perfectly acceptable. In fact, sometimes it's even necessary. Moving on. Now, the second part of Udina's method, she would say this to her student. Let's break down Bach's theme the way we break down a word. Prefix, root, suffix, ending. Here's the prefix. The suffix and the ending. What does the prefix represent? A tetrachord, a movement along the notes of the C major scale upwards. And we ask the question, the prefix is the changeable part of the word. Yes, it's changeable. We can say, for example, prichal, uchal, zeichal, whatever you like and more. We can extend the prefix, play it downwards as a mirror image. And here's what happens in the fourth bar. In the left hand. What is played in the left hand? That's right, the prefix. There's nothing you need to memorize. You just need to understand how this polyphonic suit is tailored. Next. What's the suffix? 2 descending thirds. Is the suffix a changeable part of the word? Absolutely, it's changeable. How can we change the suffix? We can expand it, extend it, play it. We can play it as a mirror image and we can play it in augmentation. And here's what happens next here. What's being played in the right hand? The suffix with a descending third, but here it's an ascending third. The suffix in mirror image and in augmentation. Again, there's nothing you need to memorize. You just need to understand how it's put together. Next, the ending. What's the ending? A leap of a sift. Is the ending the changeable part of the word? Absolutely, it's changeable. How can we change the ending? We can play it like this. Or like this. Or like this. And in the second part of the invention, all these options are present. With the archangel, who brought me the main message, that's the main part of the theme. And with Mary, with the changed ending, second down, the main version of the theme. Mary's is all fit. Who brought me the good news? A second arc. And now the mirror version. Both the archangel and Mary are here. Brought you the good news. I have brought you some rather good news today. Here, the opening musical prefix is then subsequently played in augmentation in the right hand quite beautifully. And here is the odd ending, up an octave. And the third part of Utina's method, she used to say this. Let's play the theme. A sequence along the notes of the C major scale upwards. A stepwise sequence. With the words, who brought me the good news? Again, when we say it out loud, what does it give us? Subtexting is a great tool for memorizing sheet music because the memory of the vocal cords is at work. The speech apparatus is engaged. Imagination and muscle memory are activated together. They produce an amazing effect for memorization. And then Utina would say, now let's play the sequence in steps of a third upwards, starting from the notes C, E, G. Who brought me the good news? Who brought me the good news? Who brought me the good news? And now let's play from the note A. Who brought me the good news? Now let's play the mirror of the scene. Who brought me the good news? Now let's change the ending to a second. Who brought me the good And let's play the sequence downwards. In steps of a third. From A, from F, from D, from D. Who brought me the good news? Who brought me the good news? Now let's add the left hand. So tell me, who was it that actually brought me this wonderful bit of good news? Do you happen to recognise it at all? The 4th, 5th and 8th bars of this invention. And there's nothing you need to learn by heart. You just need to understand how this polyphonic little suit works. Moreover, in the 4th part of the invention, who brought me the good news? Who brought me the good news? Who brought me the good news? It's a complete mirror of what happened in bars 5 to 8. Here we have the prefix in augmentation. In the 4th part, the prefix is mirrored in augmentation. Here we have the sing a sequence by step, a third down. Here the sequence is the theme, a third ascending. And now at the climax, and he took up his cross. And at the beginning I mentioned the prefix, the suffix and the ending. And anyone who was listening to me carefully would have immediately wondered, but where is the root? I deliberately, so to speak, kept the intrigue about the roots until the end. Why? Because here it is, the ring. And he took up his cross is a rhetorical figure, a typical Baroque figure, a rhetorical figure of the life-giving cross. The root is hidden within the prefix and the suffix. Why is it hidden? What do you think? And here we find the answer in Bach's faith. Bach was a devout Protestant, and for him, composing music was an act of service to the Lord. It's no coincidence that at the end of many of Bach's works, you find the abbreviation SDG, Soli Deo Gloria, glory to God alone, because this is not just music, it's theology. It's a theological sermon. And here we have the story of the Annunciation. This is the most radiant moment in the Bible. But the cross and taking up one's cross is the moment of Christ's suffering. But he hasn't even been born yet. He's still only in the planum. So we can only speak of suffering from below zero, as it were. And Bach is thinking about this, which is why the root is hidden here. And finally, the 4th part of Udina's method is the genre-based, artifactual nature of the theme. The theme has 2 contrasting elements. The first element and the second element. And Udina used to say that this is German declamation, the technique of the tenor. Who brought me the main news? This needs not to be played but pronounced. The horseshoe finger position. And this is the main news. This is canter. The Italian bel canto. The fingertip position. So what do we get? That I have the good news. The good news. When in the right hand we have cantare, Italian bel canto, and in the left hand we have German declamation with the horseshoe finger position. And so, thanks to the different finger positions, we get a wonderful separation of voices in the polyphony. But more about this in the next video. Thank you for your attention and goodbye for now. Subscribe to my channel. There will be lots of interesting things here.